Hi, before we start video 4, you need to get serious for a moment. On day 3, a rider was coming down from the descent down from Bud's cabin towards Ram Wigwam recreation site and had a crash. They went to bed, everything was okay, but when they woke up in the morning, couldn't move. Their pelvis was extremely painful. We thought perhaps they had a fractured or a broken pelvis. And if you're ever wondering if you're, what happens if you press the SOS button on your spot, and what it works. We did have to. First thing we tried doing was riding to a camp where we had seen some people the night before, but there was no one there, and there was no way of communicating. So back to camp we went. We hit the spot and the SOS button, and it took about 2 hours for search and rescue to get there. But in the meantime, just prior to that, some riders going up the trail, one happened to be a paramedic and helped start assessing the situation and making sure they're okay. But shortly after the paramedic got there, Fernie Search and Rescue arrived with a helicopter, and they medevaced her out. And so the good news is she's recovering fine. There was not a fractured pelvis, just some other tissue damage and so on, but it was still a pretty bad injury. But it's a good reminder that sure, we're doing this as a race or an adventure, but things can get real pretty quick, and you have to know how to deal with it, and make sure you know how to use your device. The one recommendation I would have is, if you're going to use some sort of spot tracker or an inReach, something like that, is get one that can do two-way communication, because the device that this rider had was one of the older ones, and basically it just sends an SOS. So they know something's wrong, but they don't know exactly what's wrong. So who knows, maybe they could have sent somebody by land or something quicker, as opposed to getting a helicopter out. But it does work. I think the two-way communication would be a strong thing to have, but even the older ones, that SOS button works. And just, I didn't get the name. I think it was Bob was the name of the paramedic who arrived. So thank you, Bob. And to Fernie Search and Rescue, also thank you. So anyways, let's get on with the video. So I just rode up to a camp. I was hoping there'd be somebody here. We actually have a rider who is injured and is looking to find a landline. I think it'll be quicker than hitting the SOS. So anyways, I gotta go back and tell me I hit the SOS, and hopefully she's okay, and we can get some help to her as soon as possible. Okay, I've just left the Ram Wigwam recreation site. We're still waiting for emergency services. We pressed the SOS button on the spot, but Richard's going to stay with Sharon, and I'm going to ride ahead, and hopefully I can get some cell service somewhere, because we've been waiting quite a while for emergency services using the spot, and there's no two-way communication with this, so we're not sure, other than the envelope being green, we're not sure what's going on. So if I can get to some place where there's cell service, I can at least get a 911 call going, and what's the worst that can happen? We have two calls get put in. So anyways, I'll keep riding until I get some help.
Look at the ride home.
To be honest, some years we get okay, Connor.
Yeah, we'll go through.
Right on. So we'll check you out here, and then we'll work out what to do. But I think we're going to take you out. We don't want to leave.
Okay. It's definitely worthwhile, especially like hot days. Yeah. You know.
Wow, we're
Okay, it's just before noon. I'm finally rolling. That was quite the experience, and it's good to know that if you press your button on your spot or your inReach, it's not immediate, but help does arrive. We had a helicopter arrive, paramedics. But just before that, I decided to ride ahead. The plan was I would ride ahead and try to find self-service. And just as I was riding up the trail, I ran into some other riders, and one of them happened to be a paramedic. So anyways, I rode back with them to the campsite, and the paramedic, Bob, started to do some triage with the rider. And then a couple of minutes later, we could hear the helicopter come in, and then that's when they arrived and took over. But anyways, I feel better that she's on her way to Fernie to get some medical attention, make sure she's okay, and hopefully at some point she can resume the ride and enjoy the Tour Divide. But it's good to know that from a peace of mind standpoint, that those services are available to us if you need them in an emergency. So anyways, I will check in later. Probably next time we'll be at the wall. Here we go. Well, I came around a corner and I find this bridge, so I'm glad I didn't hit this at speed. So now I got to carefully navigate my way across it without twisting an ankle or falling through. So far so good. Alrighty, here we are at the bottom of the wall, and I'm gonna try to push it with my bike, with my bags on the bike, but I might have to stop and reevaluate. So let's see how it goes. One good thing about these trees being here is you can take a break against one of them. Alright, on to the next tree. I think maybe people that take bags off their bikes are smarter than me. I'm just lazy. Yes, I know I could have taken my bags off. Although last year was wet and rainy and slippery, we were naive and didn't know what this was all about. Now that I'm doing it again, this is crazy. Okay, so everyone who likes vet shows, in particular Dr. Pol, he has this saying, it's okay to take a break, but just don't quit, or we just don't quit. That's my mindset right now. I'll take a break, but I'm not going to quit. spectacular scenery. That's the big border crossing. Welcome to Montana. Just crossed the border and we're heading down, it's called Airport Road, towards Eureka. Gonna try to find something there for the night. If not, we'll be camping. When I say we, rider named Richard and I have been kind of riding together all day, so we're gonna try to work something out, split the costs on things, as happens on the Tour Divide.